What is going on, everybody out there in the YouTube trucking community? Sean Cahalan, Christian Brother Trucker, coming at you again with another video. And as promised in my last night video, I was going to give you guys a review after about a month about my pay, and I was going to break down the pay structure and tell you a little bit more about how Knight pays their drivers. So I've been here since 12/19 is when I started, so December 19th, and I have received 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paychecks so far. So on those 5 paychecks alone, I've received $63.96.57. So $6,396.57. So if we take an average and say what is that average per week, that's about $1,279 a week. And so you might be wondering, well, how many miles are you running to get that? On average, so far, I've been running about 2,800 to 3,000 miles a week, pretty consistently. I did get a small check on the January 12th of $918, but that's because I went home for 3 days. So with that, you know, I mean, all things considered, if I was to compound that over a year, I would be making about $66,524. Now, keep in mind, as what I'm going to describe to you is the reasons why this isn't the big picture yet. Last month, I ran a partial month, and it was only the end of the month, the last 10 days, from the 29th to the 30th. And so I did get a bonus check added on to that for about $200. This month so far, I'm tracking to get over $700 for a bonus just for this month. So with Knight Transportation, you get your base pay, and then part of that is put into a per diem program. And basically all that does is that takes part of your pay, sets it aside, and it's not taxed, and then it's paid on your check and changes the numbers of your base pay and your per diem pay. So I'm paid something like 38 cents or 36 cents, and 12 cents or 14 cents of that is put off to the side as per diem, and then is paid back to me on top of that. And then I get a fuel bonus, performance bonus, and a safety bonus. And if I hit all 3 of those bonuses, I get a kicker bonus, and that's why you can make, you know, a lot of money in bonus pay. I don't have the exact how many cents each bonus pays, but what it does is at the end of the month, it retros back over and covers the whole amount of the miles that you've ran for the entire month. So, for instance, I think the performance bonus is like 4 cents per mile. It's variable depending on how many miles you put in for the month. And so that by itself is somewhere between 4 and 6 cents per mile. So if you take that 6 cents per mile and then compound that over, you know, 10,000 miles, that's almost $600, right? Well, then your fuel bonus is another penny per mile. Safety bonus is like 1 or 2 cents per mile, and then they give you a kicker bonus for another penny or 2 per mile. So you can be making 6 to 8 cents per mile in bonuses. When you combine them all together and you hit all your bonuses and you're able to produce good miles, if I'm able to get, well, I can do some quick math here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my bonus pay if I hit $700 bonuses over the entire year, to give you kind of a rough estimate. Me and math, you know, it takes me a minute. Okay, so if I hit a bonus each month, I'd be making about $75,000 a year. So without the bonus pay, just in my mileage pay, with experience that I have of, I think I was given 2.5 years experience when I came over here. Just with my base pay alone, I'm at about $65,000 a year. When you add in my bonuses, and keep in mind that there might be times when I don't hit a bonus. Take that for what it is. But if I do hit a bonus each month, that's about another $8,400 in bonuses that I could hit. So, that's quite a bit of money. To jump up from 65 to 74,000, that's quite a lot of money. So I think I was doing that math right. Basically, it's, you hit a $700 a month bonus times 12 months. It looks like $8,400 in bonuses. So that's a lot of money. And yeah, my math is right. I'm just making sure. So, we have to hit, Knight publishes a fuel mileage quota that you have to hit on your MPG. And that changes quarterly or something like that, or every month. But they give you a target number that you need to hit on your miles per gallon. And so if you hit that target number, you get your fuel bonus. On the safety bonus, we have DriveSmart on these trucks, and they have sensors on the trucks, and certain things will trigger an event. And if you get an event, it can make it to where if you're found to be unsafe driving, you can lose part of that bonus. And then the performance bonus is structured at, I'm not sure how it's structured, it's variable. So you have to hit a certain amount of miles in order to get onto the bonus structure, and then the more miles that you cover, the higher the bonus rate is. So it's variable, and it goes from like 2 cents to 4 cents to 6 cents or something like that. But it's variable, and the more miles you put in, the more you get paid on the performance bonus. The kicker bonus is another 1 to 2 cents per mile if you hit all three. So yeah, your bonuses can add up to be quite a bit of money. And you might think, well, that's just ways for them to make it to where you don't, it's just a way for them to take money away from you. I think it's added incentive to work as a team, work together, and to, do what you do and do it well. We need to be safe out here, and we need to be not messing up the equipment. And so that's part of the reasons why we have the safety bonus, so that we're not costing the company money to get stuff fixed that we break, or get into accidents, or get tickets and be costing the company money, getting points on our license, and getting fines and fees and stuff like that. And then, so that's, the fuel bonus is self-explanatory. If you're not following your fuel solution, and that's the other thing that you need to do, is you need to follow your fuel solution, and then you need to make sure that you're fueling it where they're telling you to fuel up. And so a lot of times they'll have me go to a terminal along my route in order to fill up at a terminal. And there are times when I go to Love's, Pilot, Flying J, TA, and stuff like that. But the fuel bonus really isn't that hard to hit. If you drive smart and you fuel up where you're told to fuel up, you pretty much automatically hit that bonus, unless you're leaving your truck idling all the time. We have bunk heaters in the back, and yeah, so it's, fuel bonus is almost automatic as long as you just follow and fuel where they tell you to fuel up. And then the way it's compounded and the way it's calculated, you also don't want to put too much fuel on at the wrong time. So on a certain day, if you put on, you put on 200 gallons of fuel, it's going to mess up your fuel calculation for the week. So you got to be mindful on how to manage your fuel and not put too much on the wrong day. But other than that, it's pretty simple. And I think that that's quite a bit of money. I mean, for being a solo driver, if I can come over here and run dry van and make, $65,000 to $75,000 in my first year, if I was to stay solo. That's pretty awesome. But the one thing that I found that they do really well, that I really appreciate more than anything, is they treat me with respect. And that level of respect has earned my loyalty. And I'll tell you what, I never thought that I would find that in this industry. I especially never thought that I would find that with a mega fleet, or a big mega corporation like Knight Swift. But I gotta say, you know, I really do appreciate that more than anything. And by being treated like a human, being treated with respect, and having my fleet manager call me, and them pre-planning my truck, and always having a plan in advance to keep me rolling, that makes my life a lot easier. It makes it to where I can do my job a lot better. It makes it a lot easier to hit my bonus numbers, right? So, you know, if everything was always chaotic and I didn't have a pre-plan and I wasn't hitting my miles, then I wouldn't be hitting my performance bonuses. And if I wasn't able to, you know, plan things out in advance and make sure that I was following what I needed to follow because I wasn't able to put together a plan, then I wouldn't be able to hit my my fuel bonus. And you know, when it comes to the safety bonus, if you're not stressed out and you're not chaotic in your day-to-day, and you're able to put together a plan, and you know what's coming up next, it enables you to be able to put together a solid plan on how to run so that you're not always in a hurry. And I appreciate that as well. So, you know, on average, my daily miles are anywhere from 550 to all the way up to, you know, 650, 680. On one 8-day spread, I did about 4,000 miles. So, I'm doing really good. And after I deliver this load tomorrow, I'm already at 10,000 miles for the month. So we've still got another 2-3 days in so that I can possibly put in another load. And I think I'm already pre-planned to go to Hopkinsville, Kentucky. So I'll be able to get that kicked off the truck on Monday and, you know, have that put in. So I'll be probably at about 11,500 miles for the month, you know. And I'm running hard, but it doesn't really feel like I'm running that hard. And that's just because I'm able to plan things out and I'm able to run the way that I like to run. And I know what's coming up next. It's such a huge relief to know and to be pre-planned and have loads stacked on you, and to have your fleet manager keep you in the loop of what's going on. It makes life so much better. You know, and at the previous company that I was at before, I was paid more, yeah, but man, the stress was crazy. I didn't know what was coming up next. My fleet manager was very difficult to get a hold of, and you know, I stayed mainly all east of the I-35, so now I'm going all over the country, and so I'm getting longer loads, and I'm able to run longer miles. To give you an example of how they run me, you know, I get loads like, I'll give you my last 5 loads just to give you an idea. 1,739 miles, that's the load I'm on right now. Before that was 400, 323, and 428. So there were some shorter runs that I did. And that was to get me from Seattle, Tacoma, down into California. And then from California, I went over to Arizona so that they could put me on a longer load. And then I did a 925 mile run, a 2,104 mile run, 651, 482, 523, 446, 496 and 806, 200, 650, 741, 524, 936, 1585, 356, and 1115. Now, when I ran into a lot of shorter runs, what happened was I put in my home flag, And so what they generally like to do when you put in your home flag is they like to bring you back and run you regionally for a little while so that they can get you home easier. And so if you put in your home flag, just plan on running a little bit harder so that, you know, because they're going to run you regional to keep you closer to your home domicile so that you can get home. And so that's why that was shortened up a little bit. But I got to tell you, I'm really impressed with the way I'm being paid. Very happy, very satisfied. And you know, the last company that I was at, I was making 61 cents per mile. And I got my W-2 back, and I found out that I just barely broke 60,000. So on track so far, Knight is paying me better than I made last year. So for what it's worth, you know, the numbers don't lie, you know. So yeah, I was making more than I'm making over here, but guess what? I'm running better loads, and I'm being optimized better. And I tell you what, I would rather run consistently than inconsistently. And that way you hit your bonuses. And when you hit your bonuses, that's just a bonus, right? I mean, that's why they call it a bonus. But when I was with PTL and I was a trainer, I was on track to make $75,000 a year. But like I said, if I was to hit my bonuses each month, I'd make $75,000 here solo without training. If I was to become a trainer here, which is, I'm in the process of doing that, I will make anywhere from 75 to 100. But they say 100,000, and that the top trainers are making 125. Now, the reason why I say that's a complicated pay structure is because you're paid additional for the trainee to be on the truck per week. And then you also get all miles that are on the truck. So you average somewhere between probably 4,000 to 4,500 miles a week. And then on top of that, they bonus match. So any bonuses that your trainees get after they get off your truck and they get into their own truck and they run and they hit their bonuses, you get a matched bonus for every bonus that they hit. It's an added incentive to mentor them after they get off the truck with you. And that's why they advertise that you can make so much more money, is because you get matched bonuses for a year. So every bonus that the trainee makes when he goes solo, you get a matching bonus. So that's crazy. And you know, I don't know how that's going to work out yet, you know, but I'm definitely interested in finding out. So yeah, I am extremely happy. And you know, I was over in Seattle about 4 days ago. You know, like I said, I went into California, over to Phoenix, came out of Phoenix, and I'm going over to North Carolina, going from North Carolina over to Hopkinsville, Kentucky. And so they're literally running me coast to coast. I'm running loads in between, but you know, they're keeping me running, and they're keeping me running hard, and I love it. Couldn't be happier. So if you like this video and like this content, take a second and like and subscribe and share, and that way this video can go out to more people. And if you are interested in driving for Knight, you can give them a call and let them know that Sean Cahalan told you that Knight Transportation is an awesome company. And my driver code is 24807 if you do decide to give them a call and see what they can do for you. They do from new CDL holders, previous experience. They give you, you know, your beginning pay rate is dependent on your previous experience, but they do offer training and all of that. So, I mean, obviously, if I'm going to be a trainer, you know, you might be able to get on a truck and train with me, but there's no guarantee. That all depends on where you live, right? But you have trainers that are well incentivized to train you safely. And if we don't train you safely, obviously we're not going to be training for very long. But then there's also the added incentive to be safe and to make sure that you're hitting your bonuses, but also to keep in touch with you after the fact, after you get off the truck, so that you can be mentored and have somebody to help walk you through how to hit performance and how to hit your safety bonuses and how to hit your fuel bonuses and how to manage all of that stuff. Because there's just so much to learn over the first year that it's a massive incentive for us to keep in touch with you and to mentor you long after you get off the truck and get into your own truck. I like that. I really do. I think that it could kind of give off this impression that the only reason why the trainer gives a crap is because he just wants his money. But for me personally, training for me is an opportunity for me to give back to somebody else, to make it more than just about me in this industry and about more than just me and my job and my career. I'm able to take my 8 years of knowledge and I'm able to pass that on, to pass on what I've learned, and to make the best effort possible to give somebody else a training experience that I never had. Because my training experiences when I was a trainee were horrible. And so with that, I kind of said, I want to be a better trainer than what I experienced. And so that has incentivized me to be a better trainer and to bring forward what I would consider to be the best training possible. And that's to put safety first, to make sure that every driver that's behind the wheel of one of these trucks is first and foremost safe with me and my family and your families out there on the road, sharing the road with us. And number two, how to maximize time and money, because the sacrifices that we make being out here away from our families is a trade-off, and that's for the paycheck so that we can provide for not only ourselves but for any other dependents that are at home, right? And so what we want to try to do is we want to say, all right, how can I combine safety and efficiency and make it worth it for you to be out away from home and maximizing every dollar that you can, maximize every mile that you can, and be safe. And how to plan out your day and how to critically look at your performance and how it is that you're doing, and finding ways to find improvement, week to week and month to month, and because you want your next year to be better than the year before, and you want your next week to be better than the week before, and you want your next month to be better than the month before, and so on and so forth. And so we all want and aspire to improve, and that's a combined effort. And I think that people that put their minds together can think better together and can usually come up with some pretty good ideas and some pretty good plans to have marked improvement from week to week and month to month. And so that's what I do. But I also, like me personally, what I try to do is I try to cater the training experience and try to focus on each individual trainee's strengths and weaknesses, not to point out their flaws, but each individual is individual, and they have certain areas that they struggle with, and that could be, trip planning, math. It could be trip planning, math, safety. There might be some maneuvering that they might be struggling with. Backing, obviously. I mean, a lot of people struggle with backing, and we definitely want to be able to have drivers out here that are able to analyze a situation and to be able to put a trailer into a hole without scraping the trailers, without bumping into stuff, without running stuff over, right? And so that's what I do, is I take each individual as an individual, and I don't train any two people the same. And I think that night transportation really does focus on the safety first. Obviously, with that safety bonus, that's a pretty big thing. And if you keep getting, unsafe driving events, they're not going to keep you around. And that's something that they've made known to me right from the very beginning, is that if you're not a safe driver and you're not following the rules and you're not following the law, we're not going to keep you around. And they shouldn't, right? Because then they end up not improving as a company as a whole. And these companies are rated on their CSA and their reputation as a whole. If they have a bunch of drivers that are breaking stuff, running stuff over, getting into accidents and everything else, then that's not good either. But also, I did hear the CEO of Knight talk about the acquisition of Swift, and that took place 5 years ago. And I want to say for the record that Knight Swift, is definitely not the same company that they were before. I mean, obviously Swift has one of the worst reputations as far as being, that company that always gets into accidents, right? Well, part of that is because, not only are they the biggest, but they also hire more new drivers than any other company. Well, what they've done is they've restructured their safety and their screening process, and so they've weeded out a whole bunch of drivers that would otherwise have been eligible to get into a truck. Well, in the hiring screening process, they've kind of tightened things up a little bit more, but then they also focus on improving safety and driver development to make sure that you're safe on the road so that you're going to have a long, successful career. They don't just want people to come into these trucks, turn and burn, and go somewhere else after they break stuff. And after I heard some of this, and it was a video that I watched on YouTube where there was an interview done with the CEO of Knight and the CEO of Swift, and it gave me an inside view of the progress that they've made to rebrand Swift and to bring Swift from the bottom 25% in the safety up to the top 25%. So that's a pretty major change over 5 years. And I really think that that's amazing. And I appreciate being with a company that does care about safety, obviously, because, I want to be coached and I want to improve. But I also want to be a part of a team that puts safety as a priority. And that was something that was difficult for me as a trainer with the previous company that I was at. It was really hard for me to stand behind them and to tell my drivers that I was training, hey, this is a great company, you could do really well, and not really feel legitimately that was true, and like I knew that I could do well because, I run hard and I've got a lot of experience, but I knew it was going to be tough for the trainees because of the problems in the company structure with the company that I was at before. But with Knight, I don't have that same insecurity and fear when it comes to talking about Knight Swift. When I say that I think that Knight Swift is an amazing company and they've blown my expectations out of the water, I mean it. I don't just say that. I've been driving for 8 years and I've driven for a lot of different companies. And I honestly thought that when I came over here, I was like, oh yeah, whatever, Swift. I mean, if they're associated with Swift, it's going to be horrible. But no, it's not like that at all. I can honestly say that I am thoroughly impressed with how things have been going. And I know that the merger between Knight and Swift, Swift has really, really gone to bat to change very important aspects of the business to be more safety and driver focused. And I really hope that that benefits the drivers, obviously. But I do plan on talking to some Swift drivers, and I might actually try to get a hold of the CEO or somebody in management over at Swift and kind of pick their brain a little bit and kind of see what that's like, because Swift has 25 25 locations around the United States, and they're a pretty big company. But Knight also has 25, 26 locations all around the country. And so combined, that's 50 locations. So if you want to come and get a driving job, you can live pretty much anywhere. There might be an exception somewhere. So, you know, call Swift and find out. But I would imagine that their operations are going to be pretty similar. Not exactly the same. You know, your pay structure might be different, and there might be some things that are different. So again, I can't really speak about the Swift experience because I'm not over at Swift. But if they run anything similar to Knight, I could say that Swift would be a pretty good company to take a look at and get started out in the industry. If you want to come over and get trained and drive for Swift, maybe their terminal location is closer to where you're at and you're not sure. I'm not really sure how you would decide whether to go to work for Knight or go to work for Swift. But I do know it's really nice to be able to pull into their terminal locations. I can park at any of the terminal locations at Swift or at Knight. So, that's kind of funny. Is it at nighttime? No, it's during the day. Oh, man. But it makes it nice because, you know, there's 50 locations, and so if I'm making a delivery and it's pretty late, I need a place to park, and I have found a lot of times that there is a yard location pretty close by that I can shut down at and have parking. So that is really nice. And a lot of these facilities, they have showers and they have fueling. Not all locations have fueling, but and some of them have shops. So, you know, if I don't want to take it to a Love's, or I don't want to take it to a Pilot Flying J or whatever to have something looked at on the truck that can be looked at a different shop, then it gives me more options, and I like options. So that's an update so far. I'll give you guys another update after another couple of weeks to kind of bring it up to date on some changes, and then I will most likely start making videos about the training experience. And I will most likely probably start to, well, what I'm going to try to do is I would love to be able to catalog and get interviews with the trainees. Of course, now that's going to involve them being okay with being on camera, first of all, and be okay with their face being out there. But I think it would provide a really good opportunity for you guys to get the inside scoop on what training is like from the trainee's perspective, and to be able to know and understand, you know, hey, trainee, how, you know, what's the training process like, and what's the real story behind it all, right? And so I was thinking, you know, I might do some interviews with some of my trainees and ask them some very important questions of, you know, your experiences, and is it better than you thought it would be, or is it worse than you thought it would be? And to really get the perspective of the trainee, and to see what's important to each different trainee, because I have found that each individual is so diverse with their expectations and their wants and their needs, and et cetera, et cetera. And so I think that would be an interesting way to go about it, is to catalog and you know, like I said, again, if the trainee was to say, yeah, I don't have a problem being on camera, yeah, I don't have a problem sharing my opinion and stuff like that. And so what do you guys think? Do you guys think that I should do something like that? Would you be interested in learning more about being a trainee, or being a trainer, or the training experience? Have you thought about training, or is it too scary and stressful to think about for you? You know, I love being a trainer. And personally, I have found it to be very rewarding and very enriching. And of course, there are some things and hurdles that you have to get over. And you know, it's very, you have to be a people person, and you have to be flexible. But if you're thinking about becoming a trainer, I think that would help people out there maybe make that decision and say, yeah, I think I do want to be a trainer, and I do want to train the next generation of drivers, and so on and so forth. So I think I might start doing that. If you guys think that that would be a good idea, hit me up in the comments and say, yeah, that would be awesome to be able to, for you to make more videos about being a trainer and trying to get some inside scoops on how the experience is for the trainee. So again, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and share this video with people. That way I can get more subscribers and I can get my videos out to more people. And if I hit 1,000 subscribers, I can go live. It seems like such a small thing, right? You know, but on Facebook, you can go live with a brand new Facebook account. But over here in YouTube, you have to hit 1,000 subscribers. That's crazy. It's like, oh, you have to be super popular in order for you to be able to go live. And it's like, well, okay. So, I know, I'm struggling. What can I say? So, again, if you like this video, please like and subscribe and share. And as always, thank you for watching, and God bless you all.